This tutorial was created to show you how to make a 3-pleated fabric mask. For my masks, I like to use a 5mm covered elastic headband. That is the equivalent of a little less than a 1/4-inch piece of elastic. I find that on these headbands, where it is serged together whenever they create the headband, that is a good point for cutting. I collect all of the headbands at the point they are connected, and I cut them directly in half down the middle. This gives me an easy point to cut them where they're connected, so I have equal-sized pieces for my masks. The next step is to make the cuts for your fabric. This specific fabric was custom printed and has match points, but however you need to lay out the fabric in order to make your cuts, and whatever is comfortable for you, go ahead with that. Cut the fabric on a cutting map using a rotary tool and straight edge ruler. You're going to make cuts that are 6 inches high and 9 inches wide. Be aware of the direction when cutting a directional pattern. The solid colors don't matter, but if you do have a print, you want to make sure that it is going in the right direction. This particular fabric had a specific point to where the width of the body of the mask needed to be cut. Otherwise, I would have just left them folded in half and cut my 9-inch wide cuts at this point. Right before I sit down to sew, I like to pair up all of my facings and backings to ensure that all of the sizes are correct and that I have enough material. Now it's time to sit down and sew the bodies together. I like to start about 3 inches away from the edge of the long piece. This will create a hole for you to pull through all of the fabrics whenever you're done. A small back stitch and stitch forward. Right before you reach the edge, you'll take a piece of elastic and put it into the corner of the body. You'll put it between the two pieces, just sticking out slightly from the corner and sewing over it to secure it to the corner. Once you approach the other end of the short side, you're going to pull the other end of the elastic through and sew it the same exact way you did the first corner, being sure to make sure that the elastic underneath the two pieces of fabric is flat. All of your edge stitching should be close to the edge, but making sure you're gathering both sides. Once you reach the other short end of the mask, you will grab another piece of elastic and do the exact same thing, inserting it through this corner, turning your stitch, sewing the short side, and finishing off by pulling the elastic through the other corner. Once you finish sewing the elastic edges in and you get to the final long side, go about 3 inches in and do a small back stitch. This will leave an opening for you to pull the mask through. Turn the mask inside out, giving the elastics a gentle pull in each corner to make sure that it's pulled all the way through. This is a good time to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the edge stitching and no pieces of the fabric were missed. If you're making multiple masks, just continue to sew the bodies together and stack them up. You can turn them inside out after you're done with all of them. After you turn all of the masks back to the right side, you're going to iron them flat. Gently roll the edges to ensure it is completely flat and take the iron to it. After the bottom and sides are ironed out, tuck in the top part where you've pulled the mask through and iron it flat. Some people prefer to manually pleat their masks, but I like to use the iron pleating method. You're going to roll the mask 2.5 times, so it may take a couple times to get the spacing correct. Once you get 2 full and 1/2 rolls, you'll iron the mask. Use a little bit of steam to make sure you get a solid iron. Unroll your mask, and now you have 3 guides for your pleats. You'll start with the shortest section towards you and roll your mask 3 times forward. Ensure that you're not overlapping the last pleat over the edge of the mask. I don't like to use pins to hold my mask together because it breaks the integrity of the fabric, so I use fabric clips on the edges. Here's a different perspective of the iron pleating. It may take a little bit of time to get used to doing it and to get your spacing correct when you roll. When folding your pleats, always be aware of your edges. When you go to top stitch the outside of the mask, you don't want to capture or gather any of the pleats into the edges. The final step is to top stitch the mask. I like to start on the short underhanging part of the mask because it is the most difficult to ensure you don't sew the pleat into the edge. Do a small back stitch and begin to sew a straight edge all the way around the perimeter of the whole mask. When you get to the end corner and you pivot your mask, I like to stop a little ways from the edge. That way you're not sewing through the bulky portion of the pleat. Just like on the other side, you want to make sure that you're not capturing any part of the pleat in the edge stitching of this long edge. You can open up the mask a little bit in order to give yourself some more space. Once you're completed with your top stitch, clip the remaining threads and inspect the mask to ensure that everything was sewn properly. I like to wash all of my masks in a garment bag and lay them out completely flat to dry. That will retain some of the pleating if you lay it out flat rather than throwing it in the dryer. If you do throw it in the dryer, I always recommend to use an iron to maintain the pleating. Masks should always be worn with the pleat side facing down.